I went and told Jeeta that, do you know Arijit apna bachcha. Everyone was suddenly apna bachcha because Arijit had actually worked with everybody in every possible capacity.
मुखड़ा जो है वो गाने का चेहरा होता है, इसलिए उसको मुखड़ा बोलते हैं, लेकिन अंतरा जो है वो गाने का हृदय है, इसलिए उसे अंतरा बोलते हैं.
इस धुन के पीछे क्या वक्त आपने लगाया? What was your thought behind just the start of it?
इसका जवाब मिल गया ना तो मैं कुछ भी कर लूंगा एक्चुअली. मेरे को आज तक नहीं मिला है. Hi, this is Mohit Suri
Hi, this is Mithoon here.
and you're watching us on
Bollywood Hungama.
So now guys, 26th of April 2013. We got an album that changed most everyone's life because we got a background score to our lives.
To our lives also.
To all our lives. To so many wonderful songs in one album. Mohit, my first question to you about Aashiqui 2 is that you came up with this concept of having multiple composers. Why was that?
You know, actually people don't realize this. So for my first film, I was doing that. Because that time I was so young that big people didn't want to work with me. You know, at 21, no one became directors during my time. Later on, since Ayan and all these people and Dharma started, you know, the younger people started becoming directors. But Vishesh Films is the first time I was 21, 22, 23 when my first film released. So at that time, I remember a lot of actors used to also say that when I used to come down to narrate, when they used to keep looking up, where's the director going to come down? So I used to grow my hair and all, try to look a little older and all. So I think at that time what happened is invariably I started working with individual people. Then what happened is the commitment to giving a great album became so much that if it came from one person, so be it. If it came from many people, I don't doubt anyone cannot create. But also you have to notice how music consumption changed. People were buying cassettes and all at one time, but then people started getting individual songs to get, right? So I said today it's a very fair chance. You know, I remember it was guys like Mithoon and all who just broke that. They were like, there's no, like even with Arijit, like people tend to think about how he overnight became a success. But the thing is, I've seen him assist Pritam and I've seen him, he would like do there's no small job for him ever.
Never.
He's done scratches for everyone. Like if a lot of singers feel that our voice will get replaced because in the end, लोग Arijit के पास ही जाएंगे. You have to realize how many people Arijit has sung for and has got replaced.
But you know, to like first of all come up with Aashiqui 2, क्योंकि पहली film तो Aashiqui was a massive success, and उनके गाने जो है like everyone, there was no disparity.
So you know that's the best part. He wasn't a senior guy then. And most people were afraid to pick up the album with the fear of not living up to
those
Aashiqui.
standards, yeah.
What I realized with the young guys, with him, with Ankit, with Jeeta and all, they were just happy being a part of it and making music. They were not trying to live up to Aashiqui. In fact, I admire him because his father had worked in Aashiqui and worked very closely with Nadeem sir and Shravan sir. We made this song. So you have to know that Aashiqui 1 album was made in a very different way. There was a big bank of music which were done by Nadeem and Shravan sir along with his father, and Gulshan ji had that bank. And
It was actually an album.
It was a bank of songs which T-Series wanted to put into a movie, and Bhatt Sahab chose 13 of it and recorded 2 more kind of thing. That was a different way of making, and no discredit to it. It is a great album. They took the best of the best.
Right.
This music was made for this film. And I remember his father, I was wrecking in South Africa when the song was made, and his father called me up. He had just heard the song. Later at night at his place, because it was night in South Africa, I still remember where I was, and he called me up saying, I worked on the previous album and this song is going to go what you boys have done is something else. This song is going to... He was the first one who called me up and said that to me.
Mithoon, but do you remember, like as a kid, have you seen the song being made in front of you? Have you grown up with the makers around? What was it?
I have. तो उस वक्त क्योंकि क्या कहते हैं कंपोजर्स के अपने स्टूडियो नहीं हुआ करते थे उस टाइम
पे.
तो सेटिंग्स घर पे ही हुआ करते थे. तो मेरे घर पे काफ़ी सारे कंपोजर्स आई हैव सीन. नदीम श्रवण जी, गुलशन जी, डायरेक्टर्स कम मेरे घर पे आया करते थे. हालांकि मैं काफ़ी छोटा हुआ करता था, बट मैंने वो जोन देखा है. और
like Mukesh ji had met him before. I met him.
अच्छा.
I think he had seen him as a kid or whatever, and I think that time films were made very personally.
Correct.
People knew each other's, like even like in my first film in Zair, there was Babluda who had worked with RJ Urmin, and Mukesh ji asked me to touch his feet, and because he was such a senior programmer. So there was a very different way films were made at that time. I came at the crossroad. Today we don't know when, like it starts happening with Mithoon also, when he dubs a song with a singer.
Yeah.
He's done it at his own time whenever he wants, and then he calls me and then I hear it separately. And
So was this the first composer on board? Like was Mithoon the first?
In all my films, Mithoon's the first. I always tell you need to set the sur of the film. So he was making Tumiyo, and I genuinely feel that after he made Tumiyo, he got complacent because he went away on a spiritual journey.
Complacent is the wrong word.
He's like, I've done my job for the film. Bye.
मेरा काम हो
मेरा
गया.
काम हो गया, मैं जा रहा हूँ. Bye. And he went away to Jerusalem. And he actually told me this. Yeah, he did. I'm telling you. He told me I'm done for this film. Okay, I don't think he's that kind, but he's like, इससे नहीं, but not that we didn't work, that we were working till the release on that song.
अच्छा.
Like for example, I suddenly came up and there was a different situation where she's singing, and she's singing, the writer did it, she's singing a high note, and he has just failed in his singing, and he comes to a recording and she's singing very well. I was like, how do I now show this because singing style is very subjective, right? So I called him up in the night. I said, I need an antara of this song. So he said, okay, fine, I'll call the lyric writer, we'll do an antara. That's another story altogether of lyric writer. But the thing is, I said, no, I need a female one. Oh, okay. So in the night, he has made only the female antara. Next morning, I gone and shot it, which is where Shraddha is singing.
मेरी आशिकी.
Made that only one antara first. Then he made it into a whole song. Only for that shoot, he made one antara in the night. Because there was no better way to show that.
And it was shot on Arijit's voice.
It was.
I gave you a male voice.
You gave me the male voice for his portion. I said from here till here.
From there,
I said yeah. So I was shooting it in his studio. Like I said, यहाँ तक तू कर ले लड़की की आवाज, बाकी will be.
Division वही कर रहे थे.
उधर ही कर रहे थे.
Okay, so now I want to dissect this song because Tumi Ho has had a very, very impactful time in our lives for 10 years now. So I want to dissect this and I want you to tell us that क्या यही धुन थी? Or were you all like, working on something else and then finally you all agreed on this?
No, he did make me hear 2 more tunes, which
Do you remember the tunes?
they went in other films and they did very well. Also.
Which one? Which one? What are you saying?
No, okay, so let me just put it this way. Okay, let me put it this way. I think what I had not communicated, what I was also a learning process, that with Mithoon, you don't have to communicate the situation, not the shooting. It's better to communicate the emotion. And we were still learning at that time. So I think I communicated more about the rain and the situation and how she runs after him, and then the song starts. So he made it more about the rain, the song, if you understand what I mean. Then I was like, no, but Mithoon is a brilliant song, but this is not communicating to this turmoil in the thing. And I think it was, what was very inspirational was the fact that love is not always just pretty. What he picked up very well was मेरा चैन भी मेरा दर्द भी मेरी आशिकी पर तुम ही हो. Even though what Aashiqui was not there, and I remember that comes from his, that's the only contribution I had to the song, if I really ask, it was Meri Khudi Ab Tum Hi Ho. Now you have to understand the best forms of art have been done for the Lord, because that love is so pure, and he had made that song like this. So it was Mera Chain Bhi Mera Dard Bhi Meri Khudi Ab Tum Hi Ho. So I very scared I was. She said, can this word Khudi go into Aashiqui, because I didn't know if it fit in the meter. And he was just immediately, he's like, it is brilliant, it's superb. It's superb, he told me. He normally thinks about things, Mithoon, but this, he didn't take any thought.
No, but which was the tune?
The same tune.
No.
But
You said that आपने बाद में एक अलग film के लिए लिया.
Yeah, I didn't.
What was Tumi Ho?
else.
What was Tumi Ho?
Tumi Ho was always Tumi Ho. Tumi Ho. Then he wrote a whole. So first he made me hear another song, which I felt was helping the situation, but not the emotion. So I junked that song completely, and then I met him again after 15 days, and he had come up with Tumi Ho completely. But I must say that the lyrics were written were actually just scratched lyrics. Okay, someone else was supposed to write the final lyrics.
Achha.
But Mithoon had done the scratch lyrics, and I promise you, he had no intention to turn into. And I know him. If he says he had no intention to turn into the lyric writer of the song. He had just done it because he just understood the thought so well, and that comes with my lack of being able to communicate to the lyric writer and my ability to communicate with him. He just understood the lyrics and he wrote this scratch. And after I shot the song, I tried to show it was a non-lip sync song, so we could tweak the lyrics, but the lyric writer was still not getting it. So I finally called Mithoon and I showed him the song. He said it cannot change. And he by default had to become into a lyric writer. For that song, he won the award for it. So what I must say, what we wrote, not with the audience of trying to be accepted or not with to be, praised. What we wrote just because we felt what was right and for the situation. And if you notice, Aashiqui 1 had very aggressive, out there music. And the same filmmaker told me, you have a sur in you. You must turn around and told me that you should reuse one of the old songs of Aashiqui. And I was like, so my film doesn't depend on that. Also, I did notice that there was a very different generation. Aashiqui had released 23 years back. People knew that music, but music had changed and music was more what today, what he and me were listening to.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to even ask you this question, that you didn't want to recreate a track or get probably Kumar Sanu for one song. That wasn't in the picture. That wasn't ever planned.
See, these are all thinking decisions. Aashiqui, the whole film, including the music, was not made that way. It was more felt. Yeah. We didn't make it to become such a big hit. We didn't make it to... We were just... I'd just done a blockbuster film called Murder 2. And now I was getting to make a love story. Nobody else was acting in it, so I took newcomers. It was made at a very small budget. But it was just that I was tired of doing thrillers and I wanted to make a love story. And my producer felt I had the emotional content in me. I told him I don't want to go to a big music director and I want to work with... They let me. Give them a lot of credit for that. I give them a lot of credit to understand the film. I have to give credit to Jeet Dada. Please understand, he did 8 of the songs in the album. He set the standard so high that Mithoon and Ankit had to go higher only. So, when you set a basic base which is so strong, we have to get better. So, give him a lot of credit. But even again, I had this thing, I went mad. I went obsessive because I wanted that one voice to represent, because they're playing singers. So I wanted that one voice for that male voice for him. And I've tested so many people in the industry. So many people. And on all of Jeet Dada's songs. And then I finally came and Mithoon had done Tumio. And I said, who's this guy? He said, it's the same guy who did
Phir
Mohabbat. I said, can he sing all songs? He said, he can sing everything. It was Mithoon who actually... I think Arijit should give a lot of credit to him because it was Mithoon. And then when I went and told Jeet Dada, do you know Arijit apna bacha? Everyone was suddenly apna bacha because Arijit had actually worked with everybody in every possible capacity. As an assistant, as a helper, as a programmer.
Wow.
That's him. That's Arijit. So everyone knew about him. Except Ankit's song, which was, I thought he had done so much honesty to himself. That's where I broke my rule. But so you have to follow your rules but break them when you think it's right. But it was Mithoon who discovered him and had done Tumio with him. What little people don't know, where I come in, is Mithoon, after everyone started appreciating the song so much, got the song redubbed. And the singing actually was better, but I was like, no, go back to the original singing. Because at that time, he had sung that song without the burden of it being a good song, just right. We used the scratch version of the voice.
Okay,
and that's the magic.
I want to come back again to dissecting this track now.
And I want to add one thing on that कि जब मोहित वो आवाज़ें ढूंढ रहे थे, काफ़ी सारे उन्होंने ओपन इनविटेशन भी दिया था कि देश भर से क्या आवाज़ें आए ना, तो मेरे सेशंस आके मुझे बोल रहे थे कि ऐसा आशिकी 2 का वो लोग ढूंढ रहे ना, तो आई वाज वेरी वेरी सिक्योर्ड. मैंने उनको भी बोल दिया था, आई सेड वो देश भर में ढूंढ ले, लेकिन आशिकी 2 की आवाज होने वाली है अरिजीत सिंह.
And that's, I'm telling you, and I had no idea he had found. Now I am feeling,
I took the decision on his behalf.
Yeah. And I was like, I've been searching the whole country and going for 10,000 recordings. And the thing is, it was a big thing for every new musician also, that they were being a part of Aashiqui because of, Shanuda's legacy and everything.
Correct.
And, and it's not only because of Aashiqui was done that way. When you had whenever newcomers were launched, there was always a new singer launched with it. Have you noticed in the past? When there was Bobby, there was Shailendra Singh. When there was Hrithik Roshan was with Lucky Ali, although he was famous already. But
yes.
there was always a new voice with the new. I think Udit Narayan came during Amir Khan's time.
Yeah.
There was always a new singer because he made the acting look newer, right? So we were looking for a new voice who could do all these variation and emotions. It was a tough decision. And so every time a singer came and went, I felt very dejected telling them that they wouldn't be a part of it.
But back in 2013, Mohit Chauhan was huge. He was singing almost all
Yes.
songs. Why didn't you all consider him? Wasn't that also like, was this the reason that you all wanted a complete
I wanted a new
freshness?
voice. I wanted a freshness to it because newcomers, I think Mohit Chauhan had already done like films like Rockstar and all, where he had
Yeah.
done for musicians. What I didn't want to be is I rather stand alone and fail rather than be a part of a band, and that's be a part of an entourage that is doing well. And that's what's one thing that has kept me connected to Mithoon is that he doesn't try to fit in. कि आजकल ऐसा म्यूजिक चल रहा है तो let's make music like even Aashiqui.
Yeah.
You know, I must say that I loved the album of Ye Jawani Hai Deewani. It was the same year and it was a very complete album. There was a lot of music happening, but what Aashiqui music was, it had the courage to say, while all of you all are shouting, we will quietly just say what we have to say. And we'll go into silence and we will, while everyone is getting louder and over-programmed, here was emptiness and there was silence and this feeling. And there'll be a new voice. And if he's... See, so unlike, like what I like about him is while he did a Ae Khuda with 4 voices to get one emotion, he understood my script and said, no, Arijit will be the voice in this one song. Because it's one man's, and only one man can communicate it.
Again, the vision that Mithoon you had, and I think that when I think about this track and the start of it, that tune sets the mood so beautifully. तो मुझे ये जानना है कि इस धुन के पीछे क्या वक्त आपने लगाया? What was your thought behind just the start of it?
इसका जवाब मिल गया ना तो मैं कुछ भी कर लूँगा actually.
But
मेरे को आज तक नहीं मिला है.
this has as much as impact as Pehla Nasha's start has.
Yeah.
Wow, I just felt it right now.
So क्या होता है कि as a composer जरूरी नहीं कि मुझे it comes in the order of इस गाने में जिस तरीके से आता है. जैसे हमने फिल्म मोहब्बत की बात की, बिखरा हुआ था. तो मुझे याद है कि आशिकी 2 के जो सेशंस थे काफी इंटेंस होते थे. मोहित was very he would actually enact scenes and he actually treats me like an actor. अभी मुझे आज मालूम पड़ा. And I treat him like a music composer. I sometimes tell him also, मोहित ये राग में करेगा. Then he will like listen. जैसे हमने मलंग में दरबारी यूज किया ना.
Yeah.
तो that's another conversation. But वो सेशन हुआ. ये जो आपने जो इंस्टा पे देखा, हम उस दरवाजे पे खड़े हुए थे, बात कर रहे थे, just wrapping up the meeting, and I told him, मोहित इतना सब layers है, because he told me many things about Tumio कि बहुत सारी चीजें होती कि even if this is the path of destruction, I will walk the road with you. This was the brief for Tumio. So I was like, अच्छा ये सब जो ideology है इसको 1-2 लफ्जों में बोलो. So he was like, अभी मैं क्या बोलूँ, मैं तो I'm not a lyric writer, and he was actually मेरे question को वो नकार के निकल रहे थे और जाते जाते वो बोले तुम ही हो, and he left. And that just stayed with me, and I walked back to my room. It was an afternoon. Or I was for me, was it an F minor? It's very important to acknowledge keys. They're all universes in their own self. That's why if you see the old symphonies, they will always write the key, like so and so piece in this key. So I felt कि Aashiqui 2 theme song जो है, it should be an F. I just felt that. And the first thing that came to me was क्योंकि तुम ही हो, अब तुम ही हो, जिंदगी अब तुम ही हो, चैन भी, मेरा दर्द भी, मेरी खुदी अब तुम ही हो. This is the first melody which actually came to me, and then I sat on it further, and उसके बाद I came up with the हम तेरे बिन part. And then when I was looking at the right, क्या बोलते हैं ना कि there's a motive, the right base to start a song.
Right.
तो इन्होंने मुझे सीन डिस्क्राइब किया था कि बारिश हो रही है and RJ जो है वो आरोही के पीछे दौड़ के जाता है, you know, just after they've had a very bad argument. तो I was just thinking that उस टाइम पर तो विजुअल थे नहीं, लेकिन मेरे जहन में थे इन्होंने.
You know, and after all the screaming, there is a silence. That comes.
Yeah.
That's what was my brief to.
So this tune defined
then
the
that-
silence.
These actually represent raindrops. So the idea was these drops.
I didn't say
are-
that. He did it on his own. this I did too.
My God.
So yeah, but I think
हमारी दुनिया है एक्चुअली. एक लिसनर गाना सुन के अपनी दुनिया बना लेता है.
जी.
उसके पहले हमारी एक दुनिया है जहाँ पे हम बोलते कि यहाँ पे बचपन में कैसा होता है कि ये मेरा पहाड़ है, ये मेरी फरारी है. जो बच्चों की का जो होता है ना, उनका तस्वीर होता है. हमारा भी एक तस्वीर होता है कि ये रेन ड्रॉप्स है, ये स्ट्रिंग सेक्शन यहाँ से दरिया बह रहा है. That's how we do our music, I think.
Lord that I'm thinking. My God.
no, but you know how intellectual it sounds. I don't think the work we did was that we were being smart. We were just
It
feeling.
was just flowing, you know, with
Yeah,
with
yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
are feeling. But
You just
was it challenging to get onto the अंतरा, क्योंकि मुखड़ा तो बन गया, मतलब आ गई सब फील.
हाँ.
But वो ब्रिज के बाद अंतरे पर आना and then you know giving it that same importance as the मुखड़ा, was that?
So generally with मोहित मैं इनको हमेशा एक अंतरे के साथ सुनाता हूँ.
Always.
क्योंकि क्या होता है कि मैं हमेशा मानता हूँ एंड इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्पेशली विथ हिम कि मुखड़ा जो है वो गाने का चेहरा होता है, इसलिए उसको मुखड़ा बोलते हैं. लेकिन अंतरा जो है वो गाने का हृदय है, इसलिए उसे अंतरा बोलते हैं. गाने का जो अंतर है वो अंतरा है.
जी.
सो एंड ही ऑलवेज वांट्स दैट. ही वांट्स टू नो कि व्हाट इज द सॉन्ग सेइंग बियॉन्ड द वर्ड्स. दैट्स व्हाट ही कैचेस. So I always, so when I played him the song first time, it also had
तेरे लिए I had that.
नहीं, it had तेरा मेरा रिश्ता. तेरे लिए came later.
हाँ, correct. तेरा.
So it had तेरा मेरा रिश्ता है कैसा, एक पल दूर गवारा नहीं, तेरे लिए हर रोज है जीते, तुझको दिया मेरा वक्त सभी. Now, the Mukhra doesn't have this part. This is something which just flowed. Mukhra straight away goes to तुम ही हो, and you're in the Antara. I come. कोई लम्हा मेरा ना हो तेरे बिना, हर सांस पे नाम तेरा. And then back to क्योंकि तुम ही हो. So this was again breaking the rules. We had another structure coming in over there. And then I played this to him. And then तेरे लिए का जो flight है, क्योंकि ये सुनने के बाद उन्होंने मोहित उर्मी की The Silence Has Come, गाने का ठहराव has come, and the yearning, उसकी जो humility है, vulnerability है आरजे की, वो आ चुका है. I just want this flight. The song should rise at some point like a phoenix. तो अभी उसके लिए then I sat. And then when I wanted the rise, then I came up with
It's like yesterday, man. Like it just here.
So from there we got the rise, and
I swear,
So
I'm feeling the
blessed.
same.
I'm so
and I'm
blessed.
still feeling the same. I'm telling you, this is like, I'm feeling the same way right now hearing this is when I heard it in the studio, and I was like, what is this? I just felt the same way. It's just that I'm seeing more people around me here reacting to it the same way. I just felt that alone. And yeah, this is the same feeling I had at that time.
I don't think that when you guys were making this song, it mattered कि hit होगा नहीं होगा.
No, it didn't. No,
क्या है,
exactly.
this is beyond.
ये उससे परे है.
Yeah,
This
we
is
didn't.
beyond all of that. Nah,
We
it
didn't
is
not care. I didn't care if anyone else liked it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have some, I mean, not that I have any ownership, but just wanted this to be a part of my life. And I think when you do that, and you don't have that whole thing of trying to, I didn't want to defeat anyone with this song. I just wanted to be a part of this song. And that's why we're here 10 years later, and I'm still a part of it in that sense. Hi, this is Mohit Suri,
Hi, this is Mithoon here.
and you're watching us on
Bollywood Hungama.